Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope y'all are doing good. I hope y'all missed me. I know it's been a little bit, but I'm back and we're gonna try something different. Today, what I'm gonna be doing is talking about marriage. I'm gonna be talking about my marriage so far, kind of get a little personal with you guys a little bit, I think. But I'm really just gonna be talking about marriage in general. I'm no expert. I'm still very much very much still a newlywed, I guess you could say. I've been married for a year and a half, a little over a year and a half. But it's been a journey and there's so many things to learn. There's so many things that I have learned that I would love to share with you guys and like just offer to the world, I guess. Let's jump, let's go. If you see me looking down, I have notes on my phone to kind of keep me on track because I get off track a lot. So, young marriage so far. So getting married young is like, I think it has a lot of pros and it has a lot of cons. Mainly has a lot of pros, I'm gonna say, to be honest. If you guys don't know, here's a little bit of me and my husband's story. So I've known him since second grade and he was like one of my first crushes ever. Like I had a crush on him when we were younger. I think around fourth grade, he went to a different school and I just kind of never seen him again. It was just kind of like, I remember him and I knew who he was and I kind of always thought about him over time. But yeah, and then so we met again in sophomore year of high school, and it was the first day of school. He was sitting in front of me in our third period class, I can't remember, but he was sitting in front of me and I was like, he looks familiar. And our teacher had us do these like stupid little name tag things, and I turned his around because I knew he looked familiar, but I wasn't exactly sure he was. And I just, like, I'm not a shy person, so I just took his name tag and I turned it around. I was like, oh, Caden, oh my gosh, I'm Jamesia, do you remember me? And he was like, yeah, I do remember you. So it's like, from that moment on, we became inseparable and we started dating like 2 or so weeks after the first day of school because we were just like best friends instantly. So yeah, and we got married 5 days after high school graduation. Now, this is where people get judgy. A lot of the assumptions are, it's like, well, since he's in the military, people think that that's why we got married when we did, which is like a little bit of the reason why, but not really. We had already planned to get married like a year after we graduated high school anyways. So we knew that we were gonna get married within a year after graduating. So it was like, we were getting married anyways, but since he was joining the military, we were like, let's just go ahead and get married now, I guess, so that we don't have to worry about all the processing. Like, that's a whole nother video. This is not specifically a military spouse type video, but so we just decided, let's just get married this year, let's just do it. And so we did, and it was beautiful and it was the best day ever. But like I said, one of the first things that you deal with in young marriage, or just a very serious relationship, but usually like really being married at the age that we were, which was 18, you have a lot of judgment. And then the military stereotype where it's like, oh, of course they did. If you tell people, oh, I got married at 18, they're going to be like, oh, was he in the military? And it's like, yes, but actually no, like that's not why we got married. That's not the driving reason. Like I wouldn't have married a guy if I didn't feel like he was going to be my husband at some point, regardless of if he joined the military or not. So I really hate when people like do that because it makes it seem like it's something that it's not. And there is a very strong stereotype in the military community to get married really young and really fast and you don't know each other. But when you tell people like, no, I've actually known him since second grade, like he's my lifelong friend, like we like grown up together kind of. So it's like, no, it's not what you guys think it is. But it's not only even the military part that people get judgy. It's just the fact that you're married at 18, which I get. I understand. Like, if anyone else were to tell me that they got married at 18, I'd bat an eye. I'd be like, why? What did you do that for? Like, I get it. At the same time, it's like, when you know, as crazy as that sounds, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that girl and be like, well, we're really mature for our age and all that stuff. But we really were. Like, we really were. We had a type of relationship that older people would like see us together and people who had been married and they'd, just applaud us and how we ran our relationship and how we spoke to each other and how we respected each other. And even now, being married for as long as we have, which is just like a year and a half, we still, get that type of recognition and things like that for just the type of relationship that we really do have. And even if you don't get married for anything pertaining to the military, your relationship is still valid. I just wish that people would kind of stop that stereotype, even though it is a really true stereotype. There's some stories I've heard of women married to men that join the military and they don't know each other or haven't known each other that long. But it's really no one's business. It's really no one's business. It really isn't. So yeah, people think we're stupid. They think because we were married at 18 that we just met. For some reason, it's you don't think I knew him before we got married. You don't think I knew him maybe during school or things like that. So we tell people, oh, we've been married for a year and a half and, we got married when we were 18. They're like, oh my gosh. They assume that we just met for some weird reason. I couldn't have known him in high school like I did. So it's no, I've known him since second grade. So then that's when they go, oh, so they go from it's so cute. It's a cute little love story. And it is. It's really adorable. But, at the same time, although I feel like our marriage deserves respect as much as any other couple who got married when they were 30 or whatever the case is, I still, I'm still, when other people maybe talk to me or post about wanting to get married young, I'm still ooh, be careful, because although he's the love of my life and I'm so happy for my choice, there's still some struggles that come with getting married really young that have nothing to do with the outside opinion. It's just interpersonal issues that you deal with. So that's what I'm about to get into. Getting married young and being in a serious relationship when you're young, it takes a lot. I would say, and y'all are going to fight me for this, but I'm going to say that being in a serious relationship when you're really young and getting married when you're young is a lot harder than getting married when you're older. And let me tell you why. At the age that we got married at 18, neither one of us are fully developed in the brain. You're just not. I'm pretty sure it's 25 is when men are fully, their brain is fully developed or something and they reach peak maturity. And women, it's a little younger than that. But you're not done. And then you're 18, you just got freedom. You are now able to vote. You're able to do all these things. You just got out of high school. And some people are still in high school at 18. Little taste of adulthood and you're already wanting to get married. I get it. The thing that's hard about all of that is you're growing together. You have to deal with each other's phases of being teenagers and early, very young adults. It's there's a lot of things that you want to do, a lot of things that you want to experience that aren't even good things, but it's more acceptable because you're really young. So it's it could be stupid shit that you want to do or experience, and it's not a good thing, but because you're young, it's okay. So when you're married, a lot of that stuff is off the table. You can't do that no more. And I feel for me personally, doing dumb things and experiencing what society tells you how young people should act and the activities young people should be expected to be doing, I feel those things are not necessary. In high school, I was not a party goer. I wasn't extremely boy crazy. It just wasn't interesting to me before I even started dating Caden, before him and I even got married. It was never interesting to me. And so a lot of people, when they hear that, him and I got married really young, they think, oh my gosh, you didn't get to experience life. But what they're really saying is you didn't get to go do stupid shit. It's to me, it's just it's not necessary. It's not a necessary part of growing up. Yes, experiencing things and getting to know yourself and doing new fun things are pivotal in those ages and growing, but they're not necessary. You can be 18 and be hey, I'm gonna go do whatever crazy thing that is expected of young people, and it's fine, but you say, oh, I want to get married, do something positive, mature, and something that makes me happy, and everyone's oh my god, no, you should be doing something stupid. I don't really get that. When you're in a serious relationship in high school and you get married really young, you have to grow together. You have to deal with all of those things that you want to go do and try. And I feel with Kaden and I's relationship specifically, we just do that shit together. We just do it together. We don't stop each other from having fun and wanting to go do fun things. We do it together. And that's not a hard thing to do. I don't really understand when people are oh, your life is over. You got married really young. You didn't even have time to go experience things. It's you really just mean go sleep with other people? Because I mean, that's the only thing I can't do now that I'm married. Everything else that y'all are talking about, that y'all are alluding to, I can literally go do with my husband. Everything that I can do outside of marriage, I can do in my marriage with my husband. You know, it's like, I don't really get what y'all mean by that. Some of the hardships that come with young marriage, like I said, when you're married, whether you get married at 18, 30, 40, whatever age, you have to be on the same page about everything. That is so important. So important. Now, the tricky part with getting married really young and trying to be on the same page about everything is you're at a time where like things are changing every day. You still don't know what you want to be when you grow up yet. You don't have your set values that you're going to have when you're 50. And I feel like when you reach the age of like 30 or so, your values are kind of set, you know, so it's easier to find someone with the same values as you, and it's not going to change tomorrow. Whereas when you're like 18 and stuff, you're still kind of exploring the world, trying to see where your morals are. Of course you have morals before then, but they're just more easily changeable at that time because you're learning so much about the world and being independent and all those things. So like your opinions about things might change tomorrow. It might change next week. And so when you get married really young, you kind of like have to really try to work on being on the same page. And that's super important. Like you gotta be on the same page about kids. You gotta be on the same page about finances. You gotta be on the same page about literally everything. I'm gonna also say politics, and that's what the hardship of being younger is, making sure y'all are always on the same page as time is going on, as you grow up more together, as you experience new things together. You know, tomorrow I could decide I don't want to have kids or whatever the case is, and him and I both have to work on coming to that same place. We're really at the same pace about everything. And if I feel for a second that one of our foundational values of our marriage is about to change, or I feel like my opinion about something is changing, I let him know the moment that it's changing. The second that I feel like I might be interested in doing something different with my life, or I might be interested in a different type of thing, I let him know right then and there, so that I can give us a chance to always be on the same page throughout, you know, us growing and like experiencing new things. You have to give your marriage a chance, you know? Another thing that, you know, being married young is you have a lot of pressure from society. And we're going to kind of shift gears and talk about the military world pressure too, because you get a lot of pressure that is not even intended. Because like I said, the stereotype with the military family is, you know, people get married really young and they just pop out babies like this, like that. And I've seen truth to that. And I've also seen the exact opposite. So for me, from my perspective, it's two extremes. So it's they either have a million kids and they've known each other for like 2 days, or have known each other for a long time, got married at a normal pace, normal rate, and have 0 kids, because they don't even want to play into that stereotype. They don't want nothing to do with that. I understand that. You know, I'm not judging either side. Do what you want to do. That's your life. That's your business. It's not the military family's fault that these stereotypes exist. It's judgy people that create these stereotypes. And stereotypes are based off of a level of truth of some sort. So I can't be mad at that. But you do get a lot of pressure when you're, from my understanding, I know like in the outside of the military world, a lot of younger people talk about struggling to make friends. In the world outside of the military, a lot of people are talking about, well, I have kids, so it's hard to make friends. You know, it's hard to make friends that are my age if they had kids young or whatever. But in the military world, because I don't have kids, I'm at a disadvantage of finding friends because I don't have kids in the military world, because almost everyone has kids, almost everyone has children, or they immediately are starting. And it's hard to find, you know, friends. It's people don't want to be friends with you because you don't have kids. It's the most insane thing in the world, honestly. You can find endless mommy groups in the military spouse world, and you can find endless mommy groups, play date groups, all of that stuff. But like, being a military family without children, it's like nearly impossible to find friends. So you feel that pressure, you do. And you feel like a loss of a sense of community, you know. It's like, so I have to have kids to fit in? In the civilian world, I need to not have kids to fit in. But in the military world, I have to have kids to fit in. It's the weirdest dynamic in the world. I will say, with getting married young, the pressure of society already crapping on your relationship because you got married really young, when problems arise, sometimes you have those moments where you're like, did I really fuck up? And a lot of what keeps a relationship running when you're really young is to prove to society that they're wrong. You guys don't have to accept that, but that's just what the fact is. Obviously, I love this person, so I want this relationship to work. That comes first and foremost. But in the rear view, in the back of your head, you also want to stick it to society because they doubted you so much. They doubted your relationship so much and the validity of your marriage so much that you're like, I'm going to use that as fuel to make sure your relationship works. Of course, if nothing else, use that as fuel, okay? I'm not saying stay in an unhappy marriage, whether you're 18, 40, 50, doesn't matter. But I am saying, like, use that negativity, use that to really stick it to society. And the crazy part is, at some point, getting married at 18 will not be impressive anymore. When we hit 30 and we tell them we got married at 18, it's not going to be impressive anymore. But people, like, they just kind of forget that the world kind of forgets that they hated on you for, like, the first 5 or 10 years of your marriage. On social media or something, you know, I'll see people talk about, well, I got married at 18, we've been married for 40 years or whatever the case is. Everyone's like, oh, that's so cute, so sweet, love that. But when it's someone who, oh, I got married at 18 a year ago, it's like, oh my God, what are you doing? I don't even think it's rare. I don't think it's rare. Most of the older people that are married now were married really young because that was like the norm. But for some reason, society looks at it now like it's like like it's a scary thing, but that's literally like the foundation of marriage in America is getting married really young, like at some point dangerously young. I expect it from society. They just pick and choose what is and isn't okay, when it is and isn't okay, whatever. This video is getting really long, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. That's just a few things that I just kind of wanted to talk about, get a little in depth about what marriage is like so far. If you guys like me talking about this, I have so much more to say about marriage, so much more that I've learned, and things like that I'd love to keep sharing with you. Let me know if you like or don't like it. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, all of that fun stuff. Even if you're not married, you know, just enjoy it. So anyways, I love you. God bless you. Have a good day.